In this video, we are going to see what is a relational database and what is SQL. A relational database is very much like this Excel workbook. We can imagine each sheet being a different table. So here I have customer sheet, which we can consider as customer table inside a relational database. Then we have product and we have an order. Then each sheet or each table has some columns. Each column defines what kind of information it holds. For example, inside our customer, we have a customer ID, we have a first name, and we have a last name. Then each row inside our Excel workbook can be compared to a record inside our database. So each row is going to be a complete information about our customer. A relational database is the entire organized workbook, and SQL is the language we use to talk to this workbook. And this is one of the biggest advantages, because we can directly talk to our data. For example, we can say, show me all the customers named Sarah. A relational database is a type of database that stores and provides access to data points that are related to one another. Now, let's see some core concepts of relational databases before moving forward, because I'm going to use these keywords a lot. So the first concept is tables. Each table holds data about one specific thing. For example, we can have a customer table, a product table, and an order table. Then we have columns or fields. The vertical categories in a table are called columns. They define the attribute and the data type of the data that is going to be stored inside that column. For example, first name is going to be of type varchar, price is going to be of type money, and registration date is going to be of type datetime. Then we have rows, or in databases we call them records, a single horizontal entry in a table. Each entry in our tables we call them a record. Each record represents one instance of the thing that the table describes. For example, one customer or one product. After that, we have a primary key. Inside our table, we can set a column to a primary key. This primary key should be unique, so we can identify each row by it. For example, inside our customer table, we have a customer ID. Often in databases, you see it as the database name plus ID, or you just see the ID as the name of the primary key column. Then we have a foreign key. This is how relationship between our tables happens. A column described as foreign key in one table points to a primary key in another table. The link that these two create is a relationship between two tables. For example, our orders table has a customer ID. This customer ID matches the primary key in the customers table. This tells us which customer placed which order. Now let's talk a bit about SQL. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. It is often pronounced as SQL, and it is a language we use to communicate with a relational database. You can use SQL to CRUD data. CRUD means create, read, update, and delete. Now, let's see some basic SQL command examples. Let's start by R, which means reading the data. In SQL, we have a command called select. This will tell SQL that we want to read something. Then after that, we can define our columns. If I put star, it will bring me all the columns. Then after that, we should say from. So where do we want to read? We want to read from our product table. So this will bring me all the data from the products table. Now, let's say I just want the product name and the price. So instead of a star, I can just write them down. Product name, comma, price. And now this will only bring me these two columns. I also can have some conditions on this query. By putting where keyword, I can add some conditions. For example, I just want to bring the products that are more than $1. And that's exactly what this query will do. Now, let's go inside our create command. We want to add a new product. In SQL, we can do that by insert into command. So we just say insert into, then the name of the table, products, then inside parentheses, I will define the name of the columns, and then I will define some values. This will insert a new data inside our table. Then we have update. So let's say I want to change the price of this product. I can just say update, then the name of the table, then the next command is set, and then the name of the column. I can assign a value. For example, let's make it $10. Now this query until here will update all the records inside our product table and set the price to $10. But I just want to update one of the records. So what I can do is to put a var. I will just say var product ID is equal to 3. Then after that, we have the delete command. The structure is very simple like before. I'm going to say delete from the table name, which is products. And until here, this query will delete all the products inside my product table. So to filter this data, I will say var the ID is equal to 1. And this will only delete the record with the ID of 1. Alright, thank you for watching this video. Hitting that like button will help me to create more videos like this. Also, this video is part of my SQL course that I'm creating, and it is completely free, and I'm going to post them on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe if you want to learn SQL and relational databases using SQL Server. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.